Exposed: how a 17-year-old janitor's daughter saved the day when the CEO's world crashed. Lily's heart raced as she swept the polished floors of Thompson Enterprises, her hands moving in rhythm with her dreams. If anyone had told her a week ago that the daughter of a janitor would become the catalyst for change in this high-rise haven of power and prestige, she would have laughed. But that morning, she felt the air crackle with tension. Distant murmurs crept through the glass partitions, igniting a spark of curiosity in her chest. As Lily dusted the gleaming surfaces, their reflections portraying images of wealth and success, it felt like another world. Her father's dedication as the office janitor kept their family afloat, a humble salary mixed with hard work and sacrifice. She could already see her future shimmering like the skyscrapers above. With every wipe of her rag, she imagined scholarships, college acceptance letters, a life free from worry, but today, it felt like those dreams might come crashing down. News of a scandal involving Mr. Thompson, the untouchable CEO, slipped through the whispers of terrified employees. That smooth operator, held in reverence and fear, had suddenly faltered, and countless lives including her father's hung by a fraying thread. A tight knot formed in her stomach as she saw her father's image in her mind's eye, returning home from work with tired but hopeful eyes. What if layoffs ripped through the company like wildfires, leaving only ashes behind? Amid the turmoil, Lily stumbled upon a forgotten notebook wedged beneath a cluttered desk in the corner. Its pages were filled with hastily scrawled thoughts, notes of discontent, grudges deeply rooted in corporate inequality, and secrets ripe for exposure. Her heart raced again as she turned the pages, discovering that the scandal wasn't just about Mr. Thompson's poor choices, it was a reflection of a system that had allowed the powerful to stomp on those beneath them. Lily weighed the importance of her discovery. If she exposed the hidden truths, it might just save her father's job, but what would happen to the company? A cold sweat crept down her spine. Standing before the polished boardroom, all eyes on her, she felt the weight of the world resting heavy on her shoulders. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With a deep breath, Lily stepped into the light. Mr. Thompson, she said, her voice firm yet trembling, it's time to face the truth. Her words flowed like a waterfall, fear, honesty, and courage pouring out uncontrollably. The shock in the room was palpable, faces slackened in disbelief, breaths halted in the wake of her revelation. As she spoke, she caught a glimpse of her father standing in the back, and tears pricked at her eyes. Would this brave act earn justice or push them further into turmoil? The community outside the glass walls was watching closely, and suddenly everything she had built was at risk. Would bravery spark a revolution, or would it annihilate the bonds she cherished? With her heart pounding louder than before, she felt the weight of her family's future hanging precariously in that charged atmosphere. The echoes of her words lingered, twisting into an urgency that demanded action. What would she choose? The answer had never felt heavier. The silence stretched, thick and suffocating, as the boardroom settled into a stunned reverie. Faces froze in mid-expression, caught between disbelief and intrigue. Lily's heart pounded in her chest, each beat a reminder of everything at stake. She had laid bare the beliefs and discontents that simmered beneath the polished facade, unleashing raw truths that no one dared to acknowledge. Thompson's jaw tensed, betraying a flicker of panic before he regained his composure. "This is highly inappropriate," he managed, though his voice quivered slightly. It was evident he was unaccustomed to being challenged, let alone by someone he deemed beneath his station. "Is it?" Lily pressed, emboldened by the gravity of her words. "The people you lead feel powerless. This isn't just about you, it's about everyone who works in this building. It's about my father and those who dedicate their lives to keeping this company running." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Eyes darted around, a mix of curiosity and alarm. Lily could almost hear the whispers, the questions swirling like a vortex. Could she really be risking everything? But before she could lose her nerve, a familiar voice broke the tension. Lily's right. It was a woman from the marketing department, someone who typically blended into the background. We've all seen the favoritism, the way decisions are made without considering the real implications on our teams. We're not just numbers on a spreadsheet. Her words ignited a spark, and soon others started voicing their agreement. One after another, employees shared their experiences, stories of long hours without appreciation, unfair promotions, and an atmosphere of fear that stifled creativity and morale. Lily's heart soared. She was no longer alone in this battle. But amidst the rising tide of rebellion, Mr. Thompson's face darkened. "You're all making a grave mistake," he warned, his voice steady but laced with an edge of desperation. "You risk your careers and your futures by speaking out like this." There it was, the threat she had expected, the attempt to silence them with fear. But this time, it didn't work. The employees shifted, emboldened by the chorus of their shared grievances. Lily turned to the assembly, emotion flooding her voice. "We deserve more. We work hard, and we deserve to be treated with respect." Her words reverberated through the room, igniting a fire of collective resolve. As the murmurs grew louder, she caught a glimpse of her father. He stood tall, pride in his eyes, a steadfast pillar of strength she admired. In that moment, she realized this wasn't just about exposing greed, it was about reclaiming dignity for those marginalized by a corrupt system. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifted. It wasn't just a battle for her family, it was a fight for everyone's rights. Each face around her was a reflection of shared struggles. But even as hope sparked, dread crept at the edges. What would Mr. Thompson's retaliation be? Would he fire her father in retribution, or even try to bury their voices beneath more threats? The questions loomed large, spinning Lily's world. As the boardroom turned into a crucible of fears and aspirations, she felt the weight of the future bearing down on her. "Will you stand with us?" One voice called, uncertain but hopeful, stirring the collective energy. Lily raised her chin, setting her resolve with clarity. "Together, we can change this." With that declaration, she felt something shift beneath her. The moment felt electric, charged with the thrill of potential. As they rallied behind her, time seemed to freeze, but just then, a figure stepped forward armed with influential connections. Who would it be? Would the truth be twisted against her? Lily braced herself. A new chapter was about to unfold. The tension in the air thickened as the figure moved into the light. It was Emily, the head of human resources, known for her steel resolve and deep understanding of company dynamics. Her expression was unreadable, a mask of professional neutrality, but Lily could sense the storm raging just beneath the surface. "Lily, just a moment," Emily said, her tone calm yet commanding attention as she raised a hand. "This isn't the place for our voices to be silenced. I've seen enough to know how the business has lost its way." Lily watched, her heart racing. Would Emily be an ally or another barrier? The room fell silent, every eye turned to the woman whose very job revolved around balancing the demands of management and the pulse of the employees. "You speak of respect," Emily continued. "But how can we foster respect when the leadership operates in shadows? It's time we bring these discussions out into the light." Her voice strengthened, resonating. "As human resources, our duty is to ensure that everyone has a voice. I've failed you, and I need to help all of us move forward." Around the room, the faces shifted from uncertainty to hope. Affirming murmurs began to fill the space, and Lily felt that spark of collective power swell once more. "Together, we will present a united front," Emily declared. "We are here to change the narrative. We deserve accountability." Just then, Mr. Thompson stepped forward, his face taut with anger. "You don't understand the repercussions of what you're doing," he warned. There was heat in his eyes, a flicker of desperation that only fueled the courage of those present. Lily squared her shoulders, emboldened by the support surrounding her. "No, sir. We understand all too well. It's been too long since people like us have been dismissed because we are seen as lesser. But we're ready to fight for change." The crowd erupted into applause, fists raised like banners of defiance. It was a collective scream of hope, of frustration pouring into a boiling pot of resolve. This was the moment Lily had envisioned, the moment when silent frustration transformed into loud empowerment. Yet, as discussions surged in fervor, another layer of fear crept in. Would they be cut off? Would retaliation come swiftly and mercilessly? Would their jobs be at stake? It was the same fear that had kept them shackled for so long, and Lily knew they all felt it, creeping into the edges of their minds. "Let us take this out of here," Emily said finally, her voice breaking through the rising tide. "We need to organize a meeting, gather more people who feel this way." "No," Mr. Thompson interrupted, desperation dripping from each word. "You will not waste company time on this. You'll regret crossing me." "Regret? Is that a promise?" Lily shot back, her heart racing with adrenaline. The atmosphere was electric, charged with energy both thrilling and terrifying. And just as she felt emboldened, there was a pause, a pregnant silence that filled the air. Lily met Mr. Thompson's glare, a battle of wills. His eyes shimmered with a hidden calculation, as if weighing his next move. "Consider your next steps wisely," he warned, a thin veneer of professionalism cracking. The challenge loomed, but Lily held her ground, her spirit uncontainable. That's when the door opened abruptly, and two security guards stepped inside. Lily's stomach twisted. What did that mean? Were they there to enforce an expulsion? A threat? "Mr. Thompson," one of the guards said. "We have an urgent matter to discuss with you." Lily's heart dropped. What now? Everyone held their breath, eyes darting, fear mingling with hope. Would this turn the tide against them, or was it another chance to reclaim their narrative? An unexpected twist awaited, and Lily sensed the boardroom's fate was hanging by a thread. Would they stand tall, or would they crumble under pressure? She held on to the hope, ready to face whatever came next. Lily's heart pounded in her chest as she watched Mr. Thompson exchange tense whispers with the guards. The low murmurs enveloped the room, creating an electric atmosphere, one where every heartbeat seemed amplified. Eyes shifted between Emily, Lily, and the guards, a silent vote of confidence and concern wrapped into one. "Sir," the second guard spoke up, his voice steady as if trying to dissolve the crackling tension. "We urgently need you in the back office. It's about the financial discrepancies reported this morning." A collective gasp floated through the room. Murmurs of discrepancies, and financial, ignited curiosity and fear like kindling to a flame. Was this what they had hoped for? Could it be the leverage they desperately needed? Mr. Thompson's composure wavered. He straightened his tie, the facade of authority stripping down in the face of a looming crisis. "I'll be there shortly," he replied, but the tremor in his voice spoke volumes. "Everyone, stay put," he commanded, shooting a glance at those who had dared to challenge him. The room felt charged with unspoken words. Would they be punished for their newfound courage? Or was this the beginning of something monumental? Emily stepped forward, her chin high, casting a strong silhouette against shrinking shadows. "This is our moment," she said, her voice rising above the uncertainty. "While he's distracted, we need to act. We've been silenced for too long. It's time to demand transparency and accountability." A wave of determination washed over Lily. She turned to the crowd, eyes sparkling with defiance. "Who's with us?" she called out, her voice ringing clear, a lighthouse guiding them through a fog of fear. "Me!" shouted a voice from the back. Megan, the shy accountant who usually kept her head down. It startled Lily but sparked a chain reaction. One after another, hands shot up, hesitant at first but resolute as they rose higher. Soon enough, nearly everyone's arm was raised, a forest of solidarity that filled the space with strength. "Let us regroup next week," Emily suggested swiftly, her brow furrowed in concentration. "We'll draft a formal petition regarding the culture of silence and a request for a meeting with upper management. If we stand together, they can't ignore us." "But what if Thompson retaliates?" someone whispered, voice trembling. "What if we lose our jobs?" Lily felt a swell of fear. Expenses, rent, bills danced in her mind. But then she thought of that moment just before all of this began, the feeling of being dismissed, of watching others suffer silently. "We can't back down now," she said fiercely. "We deserve to be heard. We have to take our lives back." The energy shifted, influenced by fear but driven by something deeper: hope, resilience. They had a choice. Together, they could push through the darkness, push back against a tide that had kept them quiet for far too long. Moments later, Mr. Thompson emerged, a mask of irritation pulling at his features. "What is going on?" he barked, eyes scanning the room. But before anyone could respond, the guards were at his side, their whispers urgent again. "I can handle this," he snapped, before stepping further away from the group. As he walked, panic flickered in Lily's chest. Was he going to dismiss their boldness? Who else would support them? "Focus on what we need to do," Emily murmured, her tone softening as she placed a reassuring hand on Lily's shoulder. "This is just the beginning." But then, just as hope surged again, the office phone rang, echoing in the crisp silence. All eyes turned in unison, the noise slicing through the tension. Mr. Thompson reached for it, eyes narrowing, as the words that followed would lead to a pivotal revelation, one they couldn't predict, one that could change everything. "Hello?" he answered, voice dripping with disbelief. The room held its breath, waiting for what would come next. What shock would this phone call bring? And how would it affect their fight for change? Lily's heart raced with a mix of anticipation and dread. Whatever was coming, they all braced themselves for the storm ahead. The room pulsed with an anxious silence as Mr. Thompson listened intently. His expression shifted, first to irritation, then to something resembling fear. "I see," he murmured into the receiver, glancing back at the group before his face hardened with resolve. He ended the call abruptly, snapping the phone down as if it had burned him. "What was that about?" Emily asked, her voice steady but edged with concern. Everyone leaned forward, their collective gaze hungering for answers. Thompson cleared his throat, but the weight pressing on his shoulders was palpable. He adjusted his tie again, a nervous habit, Lily sensed, as his hands fidgeted with an authority that felt now more like a crumbling shield. "There are serious accusations being thrown around," he said, his voice lacking its usual confidence. "It seems the company is under investigation." Gasps filled the room, rippling through them like a wave crashing onto the shore. Excitement mingled with panic, hope and dread danced in a bold tango. Lily's heart raced faster. "An investigation?" she whispered, almost to herself. "Yes," he continued, "some of the reports suggest connections to our financial practices." He paused, breathing heavily, his eyes darting over the faces filled with questions. "I need to handle this carefully." So for now his gaze hardened again. "None of you are to discuss this with anyone outside this room." A nervous murmur swept through the group. What did this mean for them? What if their voices mattered now? Lily could feel the weight of their shared uncertainty hang in the air. Emily pushed through the discomfort. "This is our chance then. If the company is being scrutinized, we can use this moment to amplify our voices. We have a right to transparency. They can't shove us aside if they're in the spotlight." Mr. Thompson's eyes narrowed. "You're playing with fire," he warned, but there was a flicker of something else behind his eyes, perhaps concern for his own position. "Be careful how you tread." With each heartbeat, Lily felt the swell of something stirring inside her, a mix of fear and a familiar intoxicating thrill. She squeezed Emily's hand, glancing around. What if we not only stand together but also reach out to others? Share our experiences beyond these walls? This could be bigger than us. A low rumble of murmurs surged around her. What if we start a movement? Someone suggested, their voice gaining strength. Exactly. Lily exclaimed. People need to hear our stories, the truth of what's happening here. If we're going to fight, we must fight with everyone behind us. For a moment, she caught a glimpse of enthusiasm igniting around her. Ideas sparked like fireworks, illuminating their space where fear had previously reigned. But how to begin? It seemed overwhelming. Perhaps we could create an anonymous tip line or a website, suggested Megan, stepping into a newfound confidence. Share our stories safely. There's power in numbers. But then doubt crept back in, edging its way through the excitement. What if it backfires? What if we risk everything for it? A voice piped up, trembling. Or what if this is our only chance? Emily countered, her eyes fierce. We can't live in fear forever. The world outside can't change if we don't fight for it. The room buzzed with energy, the air thick with possibility and worry. Ideas were exchanged fervently, plans laid out as they began to weave the fabric of bravery, but then Mr. Thompson stepped forward again, more earnest this time. Don't make decisions that you can't take back. You can't anticipate the depth of this consequence. Lily's heart skipped a beat. Didn't you just say we're being investigated? We're already part of this. We've got to take our power back while we can. A flicker of resolve crossed Thompson's face. He glanced at the guards at the door, their presence an unsettling reminder that caution was essential. You're playing a dangerous game, and I can't protect you if you decide to go this route. But Lily felt a rush of clarity. They were at a crossroads, one that could shape not just their futures, but the entire company they desperately wanted to reform. Would they find their strength, or would fear deter them? The tension coiled tighter as she stood, summoning her deepest courage. Then we make this real. Let us push beyond what we know, raise our voices, and see how far we can go. The question lingered in the air like an unresolved chord, electrifying and vulnerable. Would they find the courage to act? And what consequences would follow in the wake of their rebellion? The stage was set for a confrontation that could change everything. The tension in the air felt suffocating, and Lily could almost hear her heartbeat echoing in her ears. The flickering fluorescent lights above seemed to punctuate the silence, their hum barely masking the whispers swirling around the room. Emily's voice broke through, fierce and unyielding. If we're going to do this, we need a plan. We can't just throw ideas around without thinking through the steps. It has to be organized smart. Lily nodded, her mind racing. Right. We need to identify who we want to reach. It shouldn't just be anyone, it needs to be people who've faced what we have. We could gather stories, share them, build something that can't be ignored. Megan jumped in, enthusiasm blossoming. Social media. We can create hashtags, maybe even a campaign. Everyone has a voice online, we can harness that power. Mr. Thompson shifted uncomfortably. You do realize this could escalate quickly? You'll need to be prepared for a backlash. You're stepping into a shadowy world, where reputations can be destroyed. Then let them try, Emily shot back, her determination unwavering. They've already ignored us long enough. Being scared is what got us here in the first place. Lily felt a rush of adrenaline. In the waves of fear, there was a spark of something pure hope. What if we rally everyone, not just here but outside? If we reach out to local news or even bigger stations? They won't be able to hide from the truth. Do you think we can really get their attention? Someone asked, doubt creeping into their voice. If we're brave enough to tell our stories, we can get their attention, Lily said, her chest tight with anticipation. We can't be forgotten anymore. Still unsettled, Mr. Thompson raised a brow. I admire your passion, but let me remind you of the stakes. Once you open this door, it's south difficult to close again. Maybe that's exactly what we need, Emily interjected, fire in her tone. When have we ever had the power to write our own narrative? This is it for us. As the conversation continued, Lily felt the weight of her conviction solidifying. They weren't just janitors or overlooked employees, they were individuals with stories that mattered. The thread of their experiences wove them together, stronger than they had ever realized. What if each of us shared our story in a video? Suggested Megan, her eyes lighting up as she envisioned it. We can keep it anonymous, let our voices be heard without the fear of retribution. Exactly, Lily agreed, her heart racing. Anonymity could be our shield while we expose the truth. It could create a wave they won't be able to suppress everyone speaking out. Ideas spiraled, building momentum like a powerful storm. They spoke of a name for their cause, a beacon for others still scared to share their truths. Let us call it Voices United, someone suggested tentatively, but it hung in the air with weight. Lily loved it. Yes. Together, we'll stand. It's perfect. As adrenaline washed over her, a flicker of self-doubt brushed against her resolve. What if this went wrong? What if they faced repercussions? A tremor of fear coursed through her, but she brushed it aside. They had to step forward, regardless of the unknown. Is there anyone here who is willing to risk sharing their story first? Mr. Thompson asked, his voice edged with uncertainty, an unexpected vulnerability surfacing in his demeanor. All eyes turned to Lily. The weight of their gaze was electric, a collective call for leadership. She swallowed, her throat dry but her spirit ignited. I will, she said, her voice steadier than she felt. I'll go first. The group erupted in hushed encouragement, but deep inside, doubt clawed at her. Could she bear to pull back the curtain on her life, expose her heart? But what choice did she have? With resolve building like a fortress around her heart, she took a breath. This was her moment, and in that instant, Lily knew they were at the edge of a precipice. They had a chance to break the silence, to make the world listen. She was about to open a door that might never be closed again. As the anticipation grew heavy in the air, a sudden sound shattered the moment, a loud bang from the door outside. Everyone turned, startled. The guards were coming back in. Fear closed around them like a thick fog. What would happen now? The moment of truth loomed large, threatening to upend everything they had just built. Would they be ready to face whatever came next? The door swung open with a creak, shadows spilling into the room as two guards stepped inside. Their eyes scanned the space, resting briefly on each of the group before fixing on Mr. Thompson. Lily's heart raced. She could feel the tension thicken like a monstrous wave, ready to crash down on them. What is going on here? One of the guards barked, his voice echoing off the walls. The group tensed, shifting uncomfortably, while adrenaline spiked. Lily could barely breathe. Mr. Thompson's shoulders squared. Nothing at all, just a discussion among employees, he replied, his voice steady but underscored with an urgency she had never heard before in him. Discussion, huh? The guard narrowed his eyes. Looks a lot more like a gathering of troublemakers. You know that's against company policy. Lily could feel her hands clenching tightly around her phone, the promise of their shared stories hanging precariously in the air. She desperately wanted to shout, to say something that would solidify their purpose. But fear clawed at her throat, trapping her words. Emily stepped forward a fraction, her voice low yet clear. We're just trying to share our experiences, to be heard. We want to stand up for ourselves. The guards exchanged looks, skepticism etched on their faces. Share experiences? The second guard chuckled. You think anyone wants to hear the whining of janitors? You're dreaming. His words crashed into Lily, stirring a deep rage she didn't know she had. Before she could lose her nerve, she took a step forward beside Emily, heart pounding. "You're wrong. Our stories matter. Just because we clean the floors doesn't mean we don't have voices." A spark lit in Emily's eyes, encouraged by Lily's sudden outburst. "We're more than just our jobs. We're people, with lives and struggles that deserve acknowledgement." "You're going to regret this," one guard warned, taking a menacing step forward. Lily felt the group tense, but her feet felt rooted to the ground. A surge of adrenaline propelled her forward. Suddenly, a thought hit her. "What if we video this?" She raised her phone high. "We can show the truth. This isn't just our fight anymore, it's everyone's fight." A murmur spread through the group, a mix of excitement and fear, urging each person to validate what Lily was proposing. Mr. Thompson blinked, the tension on his face flickering with determination. "She's right. This isn't about hiding. If they want to silence us, they'll have to confront the truth first." "You're playing a dangerous game," the first guard said, frustration seeping through his tone. "This won't end well for you." But Lily saw it. The doubt creeping into their eyes, the uncertainty as they weighed their options. She could feel the power of collective courage gathering like a storm. "Let us tell our stories. We're not afraid anymore. We'll unite and expose the silence." In that moment, the air shifted. It felt lighter, charged with rebellion. The guards hesitated, caught off guard. The second guard cleared his throat, glancing sideways at his partner. Tension sparkled in the air as Lily's heart raced. This was the chance, the pivot where fear could either crush them or spur them into action, but what would the guards decide? Would their fear push them to silence the truth once more, or would they recognize the power of the voices united in that room? With a deep breath, Lily steadied her resolve, sensing the stakes rise. The door could swing either way. And in the backdrop of her thoughts, she wondered, would they fight for their voices, or would they be snuffed out in fear? The room held its breath, the air thick with expectation. The guards exchanged glances, their initial bravado fading under the weight of Lily's unexpected defiance. For a brief moment, it felt like the world slowed down, as if the flickering fluorescent lights above were waiting for their next move. "Look," the first guard said, regaining some composure. "You all think you're so clever. But you don't understand what you're dealing with. You can't just waltz in here and declare war on the company." His voice carried a mix of frustration and almost reluctant respect. Mr. Thompson spoke up again. "We're not declaring war. We're seeking justice." His voice was steady, clear. There was an unexpected strength in him now, bolstered by the solidarity of the group. Emily joined in, her words tumbling out with passion. "We want to show that our lives matter. These stories matter. And if you want to keep people like us quiet, you'll have to silence every voice in this room." Lily nodded, fueled by her friend's courage. "If you can't see the truth, we'll make sure everyone else does." She swiped the screen of her phone, ready to record. With the guards momentarily distracted by their defiance, Lily pressed record. The phone's red light flickered to life, capturing their faces, their resolve, their fight. "We're janitors, but we're also sisters, brothers, parents. We're not the shadows you think we are." Her heart raced louder than a drum, each beat echoing her determination, but just as hope began to spread through the group like wildfire, the second guard took a step forward, his expression hardened. "Enough of this." His voice boomed, causing several to flinch. "You think this is just some petty excuse for sympathy? You're in a world far more complicated than you can comprehend." Lily glanced around. She could see others in the room nodding, a flicker of courage igniting in their eyes. "No. We're sick of being ignored. We'll show who we really are, and no threats will silence our truth." The first guard sighed, pinching the bridge of his nose. "You're digging your own graves here. Do you want to risk everything? This could ruin your lives." What life do we have now? Lily shot back. Every day we put in hard work for crumbs. We deserve better than this. With tension mounting, Lily could see a crack in their defenses, a flicker of fear in the guards' eyes as they contemplated the fallout of their oppression being exposed. The longer they hesitated, the more solid the group felt, united in purpose. Suddenly, the door bolted open, and a figure stepped into the room. It was Mr. Krieger, the CEO, his eyes scanning the scene before him with palpable confusion. "What is going on here?" he demanded, his confidence faltering at the sight of his guards flustered, a group of employees animatedly challenging them. Lily's breath caught in her throat. This was the moment they'd all been waiting for. Their collective strength now stood on the precipice of change. The stakes were higher than ever. As Mr. Krieger approached, Lily felt the atmosphere shift again. Would he dismiss their struggle as trivial, or could he see the humanity in their demands? Please, she thought, let this be the moment of truth. In that charged silence, the gathering felt electric, each heart racing, waiting for a response that could either elevate their voices or drown them in silence. Would they stand their ground against authority, or would they fall back into the shadows once more? She tightened her grip on the phone, knowing that either way, they would confront the truth together. What would Mr. Krieger choose? Would he listen, or would he turn his back on their cries for dignity? Mr. Krieger's gaze flicked between the guards and the fired-up group, his brow furrowed in bewilderment. The tension thickened, wrapping around them all like a heavy cloak. Lily's heart pounded, each thump a plea for him to understand. Is this some kind of joke? He finally managed, his voice quivering slightly. He shifted his weight, eyeing the guards for support but finding only their hesitance. You all need to get back to work. But the murmurs from the group grew louder, each word fueled by a shared realization. They were not just workers anymore, they were a legion of untold stories, aching to be heard. No more. Emily shouted, her voice slicing through the uncertainty like a hot knife through butter. We will not be silenced. Let them speak. Another voice chimed in from the back. It was Chris, a stoic presence in the corner, but now animated, his eyes blazing with conviction. We're done living in fear. We deserve to be treated with respect. Mr. Krieger's jaw clenched as he struggled to maintain control. Do you have any idea how this could affect the company? Your jobs are on the line. Lily took a step forward, finding her voice amidst the roar of emotions. We have jobs that put food on the table, but we're living paycheck to paycheck. You say we're disposable, but we're not. We're the lifeblood of this company. Her words hung in the air, electrifying. In that moment, a realization hit Mr. Krieger, something shifted in his grip on authority. He blinked rapidly, troubled by the faces in front of him. These were not just names on a payroll, they were people. People who carried stories, dreams, and struggles. Maybe I've been blind to. He hesitated, summoning courage he perhaps didn't know he had. But what do you want from me? The question simmered in the air. A torrent of answers tumbled from the crowd, but Lily knew the core of their demands lay in a single, unshakable truth. We want to be valued. We want our voices at the table. No more dismissing us. You speak as if you want a seat at the table, but this is a business. I can't just. He stammered, feeling the weight of their combined determination. No, Lily interrupted smoothly, emboldened. We're asking you to build a table that includes everyone. We're asking for a chance to be treated like partners instead of shadows. As conviction flooded the room, Mr. Krieger shuffled back, caught in the storm of truth these workers brought forth. The silence stretched, filled with the weight of their pleas. Would he choose to listen, or would he retreat, leaving them on their own once again? Emily stepped beside Lily, her hand resting on her shoulder. It starts with listening. We just want to share what we've been through. We're tired of fighting in silence. Mr. Krieger's eyes softened, a flicker of understanding crossing his features. All right, let us talk, he finally said, though the uncertainty still lingered beneath his words. A collective sigh echoed through the room. Was it truly the beginning of change, or merely a diversion to quell their voices? As they all settled into a tentative hope, doubts began to color their optimism. With the phone still capturing every moment, Lily felt bittersweet warmth wash over her. She knew they had opened a door, but was it one that would lead them deeper into understanding, or trap them in more questions? The atmosphere quivered with potential, hanging in the balance like a fragile thread. Will he really listen? She whispered to Emily. The answer loomed heavy in the air, uncertain but somehow promising. As they awaited their next steps, Lily's heart raced with exhilaration and fear. Was change truly on the horizon, or just another elusive mirage? The air buzzed with anticipation, and tension crackled like electricity between the gathered employees and the towering figure of Mr. Krieger. Lily's pulse quickened as hope battled with fear. It felt like stepping into the unknown, dancing on the edge of a cliff with each heartbeat echoing the call for change. Mr. Krieger hesitated, his expression shifting as he surveyed the determined faces surrounding him. "What do you want from me?" he finally asked, his voice strained but softer than before. That vulnerability hung delicately in the air, a crack in his facade. Lily felt a surge of gratitude for her fellow employees, each one a pillar of courage. She stepped forward, emboldened by their presence. "We want to be valued," she asserted, her voice steady. "We want our stories to matter. You can't build a company on shadows. We deserve to be part of the decisions that affect our lives." The murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd, voices rising in unwavering solidarity. "Yes. We deserve respect," someone shouted. The chorus rose, a firm response against years of ignorance. Mr. Krieger's brow furrowed as he absorbed their words. "But this is a business," he stammered. "Decisions can't simply be based on feelings." Emily interrupted, her tone filled with conviction. "It's about humanity, Mr. Krieger. You can't run a company in a vacuum. We're the ones making the wheels turn. Listen to us, and you'll see how everything can thrive, including your bottom line." Lily's heart raced with hope, fueled by a collective resolve that felt unstoppable. This was the moment where they could rewrite the narrative, where fears could transform into a force for change. Conversing visibly shifted in Mr. Krieger's demeanor, clarity and concern mingled on his face. What would it take to initiate this change? His voice trembled slightly, as if he was stepping onto shaky ground. "Transparency," Lily answered without hesitation. "A commitment to ensure that every voice is heard, regular meetings to gather feedback. And a clear plan to acknowledge and support those who work tirelessly to keep this company running." "Real action needs to follow," another employee chimed in, courage rising. "We need accountability. A budget allocated to support employee well-being and professional growth." Each suggestion felt like a rallying cry, gaining momentum as others chimed in with ideas. The collective energy was infectious, their hope painted colorful strokes across the boardroom walls, even as Mr. Krieger absorbed each word with growing contemplation. "Maybe we've been blind," he admitted at last, the weight of realization settling onto his shoulders. "Maybe I've failed to see the human element in the business." In that moment, eyes locked on Mr. Krieger, lingering uncertainty turned into cautious optimism. Could this man truly initiate change, or would he retreat into the safe arms of corporate protocol? Lily steadied her breath, prepared for any outcome. But when he finally nodded, a sense of relief washed over her. "Let us create a team," he said, his voice unfurling with newfound determination. "A team that includes voices from every department, an equal playing field." The room erupted into a wave of applause, tears glistened in the corners of many eyes. Their collective light shone bright, illuminating a path through the fog of fear and repression. "Today is just the beginning," Lily declared, her confidence radiating. "Together, we've begun to break down the walls of silence. Let us keep supporting each other. This is how we change the culture here." As Mr. Krieger stepped back, his presence still an undeniable force, Lily felt unwavering strength beneath her feet, fueled by the warmth and vibrancy of their growing coalition. The collective silence gave way to hopeful chatter, a wave of excitement pulsating through the air, marking the dawn of a new era within Thomson Enterprises. In the weeks that followed, voices united transformed into more than a movement, it became a lifeline. Employees connected, shared stories, and found solidarity, uncovering strength in vulnerabilities like threads woven together into a powerful tapestry. Lily's heart brimmed with joy as she watched her father proudly embrace his role, his weary smile a testament to their triumph. The echo of their voices rang louder than any fear, proving that change is possible when people stand together. The silence that had once suffocated them faded into a vibrant chorus, promising a future filled with respect, dignity, and unrelenting hope. Now, it's time for you to join this journey. You need to subscribe now to never miss exclusive stories like this one. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, because it matters. Comment your thoughts and feelings about this incredible ending. Share instantly this story with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second. Only true fans will understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.